and welcome to Moms on Mics. I'm Joanne.
I'm Cash.
And I'm Sophia.
This episode, we continue with our coverage on the West Memphis 3 with two people that will play a significant role in this case, Vicki Hutchinson and her 8-year-old son, Aaron. So on May 27th, police interview Vicki Hutchinson, who tells them of evidence suggesting that Damien Eccles and Jesse Miskelly were involved in both cult activities and the murders of the three boys. Aaron Hutchinson, Vicki's 8-year-old son, tells police that he and the three murdered boys often visited Robin Hood Hills together, and that they had at times seen 5 men in the woods sitting in a circle, singing songs of the devil and doing what men and ladies do. So on May 6, 1993, before the victims were found later that day, Hutchinson took a polygraph exam by Detective Dawn Bray at the Marion Police Department to determine whether or not she had stolen money from her West Memphis employer. Hutchinson's young son, Aaron, was also present and proved such a distraction that Bray was unable to administer the polygraph. So Aaron, a playmate of the murdered boys, mentioned to Bray that the boys had been killed at the playhouse. When the bodies proved to have been discovered near where Aaron indicated, Bray asked Aaron for further details, and Aaron claimed that he had witnessed the murders committed by Satanists who spoke Spanish. Aaron's further statements were widely inconsistent, and he was unable to identify Baldwin, Eccles, or Miskelly from photo lineups, and there was no playhouse at the location Aaron indicated. A police officer leaked portions of Aaron's statements to the press, contributing to the growing belief that the murders were part of a satanic rite. Detective Ridge interviewed Vicki Hutchinson. When asked who Aaron's best friends are, she states, Aaron ran around with 2 little boys, Michael Moore and Christopher Byers, and those were his only friends, the only 2 he did ran with. Okay, so we're going to do the same kind of back and forth thing. So Sophia is going to talk as Detective Ridge, and Cash will play Vicki Hutchinson.
Okay, now, on the 5th, you picked up Aaron from school that day?
Yes, I did.
And tell me what happened that day.
Or I was waiting in where the teachers park on the side of Weaver Elementary and watching for Aaron. It was approximately 15 after 3, and Michael Moore came to one side of my truck and Christopher Byers to the other. And Aaron, close to them. And they were telling me, Miss Vicki, there's a Cub Scout thing tonight, and Aaron needs to go. And Michael's father is their troop leader. And, Michael really, really incessant upon Aaron going. And they just kept saying, there's a Cub Scout thing. Miss Vicki, he has to go. He has to go. And I said, no, this is Wednesday night. Cub Scouts are tomorrow, Thursday night. And they just kept on. Finally, they got it through. He wasn't going to go because I just thought they wanted to go and play. And he said, well, Aaron just come to my house and you could pick him up in 2 hours, which I had done frequently. So he had assumed I would do it then. And I just said no because I had errands to run. Aaron did not go.
When Ridge asks about the next day, Vicki explains that they were running late, so Aaron was late for school. After dropping him off, she goes home and sees the news that the boys were missing. She claims to have gone back to the school to talk to the principal and counselor, which is really fucking odd, right? Like 3 boys are missing, and you as a random parent decide you're just going to go talk to the principal and counselor about it. Like, they're not going to be able to share any information if they even have any, right? That just seems bizarre.
But why not the cops? Why the principal?
Yeah. Whether she actually did that or not, we don't know. This is her putting herself into the investigation. Okay, so she was originally at the police department because she was caught stealing money, right, from her employer, and they were pressing charges. So she kind of inserts herself into this investigation to get the charges dropped. She had been quite the character prior. Like, she had some prior arrests and stuff, so
her nose needed to be everywhere.
Yeah, I kind of get that feeling, right? Like, that's the type of person she was. She wanted to be involved. When I don't doubt that her kids were or her son was friends with them because they were the same school, same age, same Cub Scout. I totally get that, but I think she just inserted herself, really.
Did Aaron stay in school the rest of the day?
He stayed, No, I went down to the Moore's house to see Todd and Dana Moore, and just to see, what was going on. And Todd asked me, Vicky, do you think maybe Aaron knows where they're at? I said, I don't know. I'll be glad to go get him if you think it will help. If you talk to him, and he said I would really appreciate it. And I went and talked to Miss Moore, and she got Aaron out of class. I took Aaron to Todd and Dana's house, and Todd asked Aaron if he might know, did Chris or Michael say anything to him to the effect where they might be? He said no. You could tell when your child is lying, and it was like he knew something was up. And he said after we had left the Moors coming out of their door, he told me, Mama, let's go to the clubhouse. We need to go to the clubhouse.
Okay. Do you know where the clubhouse was?
Yes, I do.
Have you been there before?
Yeah, yes, I have.
And when were you there before?
Anytime my child didn't come home on time, that's where I would look for him.
Okay. You had been there on several occasions? You've seen the clubhouse?
Uh-huh. I have seen it several times.
All right. And he's been found there by you several times?
Yes.
Okay.
Detective Sudbury, do you remember the last time you were there that you saw it?
It would be right before we moved. We moved on the 19th of April.
It was still intact?
It was fine. Okay.
Okay, so this is important because no clubhouse was ever found. And remember, the woods are not that big, around the size of an American football field. So later, when the police take Aaron and Vicky into the woods so that they can show them where the clubhouse is, they should have been able to take them right to it, right? Because they'd been there often, but they can't. But it is kind of important to note, I guess a clubhouse for an 8-year-old boy doesn't necessarily have to be a building per se. It could be like trees or, bushes, whatever. Either way, regardless of what it was, they were never able to take the police to it. So then later, Vicky goes to talk to Jessie Miskelly. She actually has Jessie stay over at her house because she said there was like a peeping Tom in the area, and so she was scared. Vicky is like 30, so she's awfully close to Jessie Miskelly, which it's a little weird considering he's 17.
Yeah, that's weird.
Right? I mean, it'd be different if they were like close family friends. And so she was somewhat, even, I don't know.
No. That's
right?
like
I'm trying to think.
Hanging out with a 17-year-old male. Not
right?
happening.
Yeah.
No.
I'm trying to think, like.
Even in the 90s, not okay.
I'd be like, you know what, man? No. I don't know. Cash, would you hang out with a 17-year-old?
No. But it almost feels too like she's just taking advantage of him. Like, does she know his
for sure.
Right? Like,
yeah.
Might know what his mentality is like. So she
like he cuts her grass, he helps out with stuff. So but it's not even just, I hire the local, unfortunate guy to come and like cut my grass. If it stopped there, it's fine. But him sleeping on her couch, that's the icky line.
Mm-hmm.
I don't like that icky line.
I don't like that either.
A little Jesse Miskelly, lives down the street from me. And you know that I was really close to him anyway. Yeah, no? Because he was always around. He doesn't go to school or anything. He help you mow the lawn and stuff. And I'd gotten really close with him. He made mention after this came out that he saw Chris Byers over by the Beacon that morning. On the morning that, they were found, and that Chris was in a pink shirt and even picked him out in the paper to me. And that was odd for him to say something like that. So, I just keep talking with Jessie because Jessie's, not a bad kid, but you don't know who people know. So I just kept talking to Jessie about stuff. And Jesse told me about a friend of his named Damien, and this friend drank blood and stuff. He just kept going on and on and on about how weird he was and stuff. So, by the way, the stuff that Renew the Public knew that was coming out in the paper? and stuff I just thought how they were killed was odd. But maybe it was like a devil worshipping thing. Or, something just hit me that might be it. And I thought that this kid doing this, maybe he knew something, or maybe Jesse knew something. So Jesse had told me that Damien hang out at Lakeshore. And so I went out of my way, to try to go around Lakeshore. And people around there, and I told Jesse I had seen Damien. And he asked me, how did I know that it was Damien? And I said that there was a little boy, Adam, who was a friend of mine's little boy, which he's about their age, and he had pointed him out to me. He said, well, he's kind of weird. I said, no, I think he's hot. I really want to go out with him. Can you fix me up with him? And he was really surprised. But he said, yeah, if you want to go out with him, I'll fix you up with him. And he did.
Now, if you're a cop and you're hearing this, and your brain automatically goes, oh yeah, she definitely knows something. What is wrong with you?
Right.
And if anyone listening is like, oh my God, that was so hard to hear. Cash read it exactly word for word. So it's not Cash not reading well.
Right. Because even I'm like, that doesn't make sense.
Right? It does not.
I'm like, that word not supposed to be there.
Yeah. This is copied and pasted from her statement. So this is exactly what she said. And any cop that goes, yeah, this chick definitely knows something is an idiot. Because from that statement alone, this chick knows shit.
You can't even talk properly.
Right? None of that made sense. And my first instinct is like, I'm sorry, ma'am, you hang around far too many underage children.
Right.
And you're after this 17-year-old, 18-year-old. Like, if Damien is 18, it's still weird. Like,
yeah.
It's
inappropriate for sure.
It totally is, yeah.
Vicki tells the police that she will help them and agrees to them putting recording devices in her home. They plant books about the occult on her coffee table, and Damien comes over to her house. They basically just talk about her wanting to become a witch and the books on the table. Vicki tells the police that Damien takes her and Jesse Miskelly to an SBAT in Terrell.
We should clarify these books are everything in the West Memphis library on the occult with their big old library stickers and everything just to make Damien feel at home. The fuck?
Okay.
I do know where he went. We turned off and hit a dirt road and about by some kind of water and in woods in a field. And by the time we had gotten there, it was dark. It was quite a drive.
So I'm reading as Detective Sudbury. Could you find it again?
Yes, sir. And we went out, got out of the car, and it was just really dark, especially out, in the woods. It was just dark. And I was scared a little bit, in fact, but we held hands just like you would hold my hand and keep trying to comfort me. He knew I was scared.
Uh-huh.
And he told me it would be okay, not to be scared. Don't worry. And Jesse went to the crowd. Then you could see there was a crowd of kids.
You say a crowd. How many kids?
Probably 10.
All right. You say kids. How old would you say their age group?
I would say, just guessing, I would say probably none of them were over 18.
Okay. And how far away from them are you?
About 15 foot.
So, all right. Did you see their faces? What condition were they in?
They were painted.
Painted their faces?
Black. Even their faces were painted.
How about their bodies?
Well, what you could see of their bodies with their clothes, was painted. Their arms were painted, that had on jeans, so...
All right, so this group progressed, and what did they do as the thing progressed?
They stood around, and it seemed like they were just talking and stuff. And Damien and I stood back, away from them. We never went to the crowd.
Okay.
Um, when one person did walk up and talk,
Do you know who that was?
Sean Webb, only because I have seen him around home
Okay.
and knew who he was. And so when he got close enough to me, I could tell who he was. He talked with Damien. Just what's up, just bull crap. And then walked back over, and then these kids took their clothes off and began touching each other. And I knew what was going to happen.
All of them?
All of them at the same time.
When they took their clothes off, did they place them in a spot or did they just throw them or
They just threw him down.
threw them down? Okay. Underneath the clothes, were they still painted up or stuff, or was that clean?
That was clean.
Under the clothing.
Under the clothes.
They apparently put the paint or whatever it was on their skin while they were still wearing the clothing.
Exactly.
Okay, all right. And as this begins happening, what happened to them?
I looked at Damien and I said, I want to leave.
Okay, and what did he say?
He said, okay.
He didn't try to convince you to stay or anything like that?
Not at all.
Okay.
Okay, so Vicky also told police that Aaron told her that he, Michael, and Christopher visited their clubhouse every day and they rode their bikes and they were spying on 5 men. He didn't know who they were, but they were there every day, so he would watch them. He said they painted themselves and have dragon shirts and they talk in Spanish. He said he couldn't understand what they were saying, but they sang about the devil. They'd sing a song and then they'd dance around the tree. He said the 5 men took their clothes off. He also said that Michael had told him there was an Indian thing they were supposed to do. And Chris said, no, they're getting ready to have sex. He said that they had their Peters in each other's butts and said they watched. Vicky also told the police that Aaron told her that those men killed the 3 boys. Damien will later say that he didn't know why Jesse wanted him to talk to this crazy lady. And which, right?
Yeah.
God, that the whole thing was weird. That whole SBAT thing, that didn't happen. So Vicky claimed that Damien drove in a red Ford Escort. Damien didn't have a license and didn't drive. And they tried to track down the Ford Escort. Nobody in the area or whatever, nobody had one. So that just didn't happen.
They should just listen to how she spoke.
Right? Like you could tell from the way, from what she's saying, that she's trying to make it up as she goes, right? The police bugged her house. Like when she had Damien over and the books were on the coffee table and stuff, the police had bugged her house to try and, because she was like playing detective, right? So she was going to try and get him to open up and confess to her about these murders. He didn't. He wasn't there for very long and he left because it was fucking weird that this 30-year-old lady wanted to hang out with him, right? Aaron was only 8 years old, and his best friends had just been murdered. He was being interviewed by police and was getting a lot of attention. Marion police officer Donald Bray tried to strike up a conversation with Aaron, who at first wouldn't talk or make eye contact, but eventually Aaron warmed up to Bray and said 2 of the boys missing in West Memphis were his best friends. This is some of the statement from Aaron Hutchinson.
This is Detective Brian Ridge, currently in the West, in the Marion Department. Today's date, 05/27/93. The time is 5:17 p.m. Currently in the Marion Police Department with Inspector Gary Gitchell, Detective Sergeant Mike Allen, and Chief Don Bray, and we are here interviewing Aaron. What is your last name?
Kyle Hutchinson.
All right, Aaron, I understand you have some close friends.
Yes, sir.
And that those were some of your best friends in the world, and that something happened to them about 3 weeks ago now, and they got killed. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Did you see them the day before they got killed?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What happened that day when you got out of school? What was it they were going to do that day?
Before they did anything, they went up to my mama's truck and they asked her if I could go over to Michael's house to go with them to play somewhere. That was where our club was.
All right. You've been to your club before with them? All right. Can you explain to me where the club is?
It's in those woods where that stop sign is, and it's
Is the woods, have they got a name? They call it Robin Hood, is that right?
uh-huh.
It is okay. You've been down there before?
Yes, sir.
Do you go down there a lot?
hmm
Okay, when you went down there, who all went with you most of the time?
Michael and Chris.
Okay, and what did you do when you went down there?
We played,
Okay, did you ever?
and then sometimes we watched these men.
These men, okay. What were these men doing?
They were doing nasty stuff.
Doing nasty stuff. Where did you see them doing this stuff?
In Robin Hood, the place where the boards are.
Was it there where your club is, or was it somewhere else in those woods?
It was right beside our treehouse.
Right beside it. Okay. Now you say they are doing nasty stuff. Were they saying anything?
Yes, sir.
Okay, what were they doing?
They do what men and women do.
Okay, how were they dressed?
They had all of them had on black t-shirts and except one.
Okay, the one, what did he have on?
He had on a white t-shirt.
Okay, how old would you think they are?
Somewhere around 20.
Around 20. Were they like teenagers, or do you think they were still in school, or do you think they had just gone out of school? About what age group?
Like they looked all like my mom.
Okay, so how Aaron describes the age he believes he's meant to be just shows how young he is, right? And again, talking about this clubhouse that doesn't exist. And no, like, I don't mean anything bad about Aaron. He is 8, right? So we have to remember that.
Okay, you're saying they're doing things like men and women would be doing?
Yeah.
When I say having sex, is that what you're describing?
Yes, sir.
Okay, how would they have sex?
They would wipe each other like they did to Michael, Chris, and Steve, they said.
Okay, so Detective Gitchell says, were they in the front of each other or behind each other?
In front of each other.
Okay, when they were having sex, was it having sex in the front or having sex in the back?
In the front.
With their mouth? Were they having sex with their mouth?
Yes, sir.
They were. Okay, all right. When's the last time you saw that happen?
The day before we moved, which was about a month ago.
Okay, and you saw it happen then? Did this happen real often?
Yes, sir.
How often?
It happened 5 times.
5 times you saw it happen. 5 times. Was it like every day or once a week or just 5 different times you saw it happen?
It was every day, but it was every time. But it was every time but the Friday.
Every time but Friday? They didn't do it on that Friday? Okay. Did you know of any of the boys?
Yes, sir. I don't know none of them, men.
The men. The men. You didn't know any of them? Had ever seen them before?
We have only seen one in Flash Market.
You saw one of those 5 in the flash market. Was there always 5 people there?
Uh-huh.
Okay, hang on. So we got to go back here for a second. Notice how Aaron is trying to say they were doing what men and women do, right? And Detective Ridge is like from the front or the back, and Aaron's saying from the front.
Yeah.
These are all men. And it wasn't until Ridge says, were they doing it with their mouth?
Right.
So right there, it kind of tells you, like, because A, he's 8, right? So he probably doesn't have much of an understanding past, like, something men and women do, right? But not understanding what it is they actually do. And B, Ridge should not have put that in there, right? He should have asked Aaron to describe a little bit more. And, like, I get that it's uncomfortable, but this is just showing he doesn't know what he's talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It just seems very odd that they would. I mean, shouldn't say odd because they lead everybody to say what they want to say, but
yeah, like almost manipulating the situation.
Exactly.
Like
yes, thank
manipulating
you.
the boy to say what they want him to say.
Exactly.
So by saying, instead of saying, describe to me what you saw, he's like, did he use his
Exactly.
mouth?
Yeah.
Right?
Because
Yeah.
I think you could have gone further. Like that where right there would have been like, you know what? I don't think this kid really understands what's going
Yeah.
on, right? Because men and men can't have sex from the front. So,
Exactly. But
yeah.
even so, it would be like, even if you could say, like, did they use their mouth? Did they use their hands? Did they use an object?
Right?
Like there was,
Yeah,
yeah, like totally manipulating the situation. Absolutely.
exactly. Okay, so then Gitchell says, did he just walk in Flash Market and buy something, or did he work there?
He walked into Flash Market, buy something. We didn't buy nothing. We just went in the store and ran right out.
Were you and all the boys together?
Just me, Michael, and Chris.
How long ago was that?
A month and a half.
Before they got hurt. How long before they got hurt?
About real long.
So Aaron goes on to tell them that they went to the clubhouse all the time after school and hid waiting for these men to come so that they could watch them. The men never caught them watching them, and the more the interview goes on, the more elaborate his story goes.
They never saw you? Okay. Did they have any kind of jewelry on, necklaces, watches, or anything like that? Just.
There was a skull commander. He had on a necklace of skull, and there is a snake in its eye.
The commander, the skull commander, is that what you called him? He had on a necklace, is that right?
Yeah, he had on a necklace.
Okay, and it had some kind of pendant on it or some kind of animal?
A little snake on it eye, right here.
A snake inside the eye?
And the tongue was sticking out of the snake's eye, and snake's tongue.
Okay, okay. And you saw that on was the one wearing the white shirt, or is it just another one? Describe what guy for me you saw.
It was the one that wasn't wearing the white shirt.
Oh, he wasn't wearing a white shirt.
He was wearing the black one.
Okay, what kind of hair did they have? Did any of them have hair that just stuck out, that just they didn't look funny?
Some of them had long hair, and I think most of them had long hair.
Okay, you say long hair, you mean down on their shoulders or just
On their neck.
ratty looking long hair?
On the neck.
Down on their neck. Okay.
Okay, Gitchell says, did you and your friends ever wait around in the water and play around there, or maybe go swimming or something?
Uh-uh.
You all never did that? Okay, okay.
We never got close to water.
Okay, did you ever walk across the pipe?
Yes, sir.
All of you would walk across the pipe. What would you do with your bicycles?
We would lay them. We would lay them it was in the part where we on the end of the pipe.
Okay, now this is interesting. If they were leaving their bikes out in the open, wouldn't the five men have seen them and know that there are kids in the woods? That would make it a bit more risky for them to have their sex time, right? And I mean, honestly, he didn't sound like he knew where you would put your bikes. So it's hard to take what he's saying seriously. And I feel bad being like, this dude's lying because it's an 8-year-old kid. And his friends have, like, in, all fairness, his friends have just been murdered.
It sounds like he's just listening to his mom, though.
Yeah, like he's trying to remember, he's been told what to say and he's trying to remember it. Like those are filler words, right? That we use to try and remember what we're going to say next or think of what we're going to say next, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so the interview continues and this next part is important.
Did you go to the Blue Beacon, the truck wash?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
We seen them. The trucker, come in and wash his truck.
Uh-huh. Yes. Did you all like to play over there?
Yeah.
Did you ever see anybody over there on that side that may have scared you or anything like that?
No.
How about those 5 boys? Did you ever see those 5 boys on that side? Okay, when you went down there, did you have a bicycle? Do you have your own bicycle? So how about, do you know Steve? Did he ever go down there with you?
Okay, so Detective Ridge starts to call the five men boys. He does this twice in a row. This is significant because Aaron has called them men this entire time. By Ridge switching to boys, he's changing the narrative, right? So he also asks six questions at once. And this feels like he's switched tactics from the interview being led by Aaron to now being led by the police.
Okay, I understand now. All right. Since this thing happened and Chris and Michael were killed, okay, have you talked to any of your little friends that might know what happened?
Nobody knows what happened but me, out of all my friends.
But you know what happened. Tell me what you think happened.
They went down to watch those men and
Okay, so Gitchell steps in. Now, what did they go back to watch them?
it was on a Wednesday.
All right, you're going to go with them. Did you want to go with them?
Yeah, I didn't know what they were really going to do.
Did someone not let you go?
My mom,
Okay.
Okay, what do you think happened to them?
I think they were watching them men like we always did, and they got caught, and then they never told the men, and the men sort of killed them.
Okay, so Aaron goes on to tell them about a dog the men teased and beat, pushing it with a stick. Then about a cat that they cut its head off and ate the whole cat except the head. That he saw the knife they used and it had blood on it before it was used to cut the head off the cat. If that was true, he would need to be very close. He also said that they had a painted black face, but if they scratched themselves, they would have white spots where the paint came off. However, when asked if he knew what kind of paint they used, he said the kind that never comes off. I do want to also say, remember the line he said, "Nobody knows what happened but me"?
Yeah,
Keep that line stuck in your head
okay.
because in Jesse Miskelly's testimony, the police play this for him, just this one line to freak him out. It's, yeah, keep that line in your head.
Because they did have a bag with them,
What kind of bag?
a bag that carries stuff.
Okay, what color was the bag? Was it cloth or was it like a briefcase or was it just...
It was a briefcase.
It was a briefcase. Okay, did it...
Now, what a minute. Do you know what a briefcase is?
It's a little thing that has a handle that you hold.
Okay.
With the people that has.
Okay. You're pretty sharp.
Is it one they had to lay down and then open up the top of it?
Yeah,
Like it just opened in half, is that right?
they.
Or is it one that would stand up and they would open and then the top would sort of open up?
Yeah, the top would kind of open up. It was like a little lock on there. They had a little soap on there. They
Okay,
twisted it around, and they never opened it up before.
but they open it. When did they open it?
We've never seen them open it.
You never saw them open it. Okay.
They just carry it around with it.
Okay, when you're saying they did bad things and you saw what they were doing,
Uh-huh.
okay, can you tell me how they were doing what they were doing? Were standing up, were laying down?
They were laying down.
Laying down, okay. And were they laying face down and one on top of the other one?
One of them was face down, and then the other got face down too,
On top of the other?
on top of the other.
Okay, was one up on his knees a little bit, or was he all the way laying flat down?
One was like on his knees a little bit.
And could you see what they were doing? Were you close enough to really see what they were doing?
They were doing doing mouse stuff and stuff, all kinds of stuff I meant.
Okay, you said a little while ago they did something with their mouth. What did they do with their mouth?
They kissed.
Kissed each other, or did they kiss their body somewhere?
They kissed their body somewhere.
Kiss between their legs?
Ooh.
Okay. And when they kissed between the legs, did they do it for a long time?
Uh-uh.
Just a few minutes. Okay.
About 5 minutes.
Did they holler?
Uh-uh.
Okay, so Aaron said that one man had a tattoo of a big spider web on his shoulder that went down the arm, came across almost the chest and went back up the arm, and then went down on his chest and made a circle. On June 2nd, Aaron is shown a photo spread of suspects to see if he recognizes any of them. The photos are of Frankie Knight, Jerry Mearns, Murray Ferris, LJ Hollingworth, Tracy Laxton, James Martin, and Michael Letter. However, on May 27th, he was shown a lineup of 10 photographs. Yet this report is saying there were only 7 photographs. It's unclear who the other 3 are, though it would make sense if it was Damien Eccles, Jesse Miskelly, and Jason Baldwin. The biggest issue with Aaron's statement is the police led him in their questioning. They planted ideas that Aaron ran with, which of course he did. He was 8 years old. Kids like to please. They like to be helpful and feel important. It's no fault of Aaron's at all. Vicki Hutchinson says she was told what to say by the West Memphis Police Department detectives, and that if she did not testify as instructed, they could take her child away from her and implicate her in the slayings. She also says the police hid her away from defense attorneys after she testified in the first of the case's 2 trials, and that she knows of at least one piece of evidence destroyed by police. Many, including Hutchinson herself, believe that statements she and Aaron made helped prosecutors with their convictions. Hutchinson now says her testimony was a complete fabrication. In 4 recent interviews, she said she has been carrying the burden of putting 3 innocent boys in the penitentiary and can no longer keep the truth bottled up. I lied instead of trusting in God, she says. I was raised in a Pentecostal home and I knew to do right, but instead I let the West Memphis Police Department scare me to death.
I just don't know how they don't see that their testimonies are all over the place.
Right?
Like, it's confusing just to read it, let alone hear it.
Exactly. And Aaron never testified in trial, but they did use some of his testimony. Like, they just didn't have him on the bench kind of thing. Because they did that because they had to have known it was a complete farce. Like, it was totally made up. And not, again, not on with any fault of Aaron's, right? This is totally the police department, like Sophia said, leading and like
Manipulating.
Thank you, manipulating his whole testimony. And they had to have known as soon as they put him on the stand, the defense would just rip his testimony to shreds, right?
But don't they also have like special prosecutors for children too? Like, why are you using adult ones for a child?
I don't know. Did they in the 90s though?
I'm not sure. I don't know when exactly, because if we look at the cases with the Satanic Panic, the daycare cases, right? They didn't use the right people because I don't know if they had them back then. Do you remember?
Actually, I'm not sure they use special people to interview kids on the stand.
Well, they don't use so the prosecutor themselves will interview them, but they have like people that they like you have to have special training basically to like interview the kids. But I don't know. I can't say for sure how many people do it.
I think there is.
Yeah, I don't think there is for like on trial, like during the trial, like the prosecution is going to ask all the questions, right? But I think basically when you bring a child into the police department, there's somebody there that does the interview with them. So this is like the police interviewing Aaron. This isn't the trial transcripts.
Right.
This is what he's saying in the interview. So whether they had those, like they're not the family liaison person, I don't think they would have had it back then, but I think now they definitely do. There's a whole, what's that Netflix show? And it's that kid that murdered these other kids. And it's really new too. And it's from the UK. Dang it. I can't remember its name. But anyway, it's in the UK, so it could be different there. But they have basically a special policewoman that comes in and talks to him because she's trained to talk to kids, right? And now whether they have like a special police person or whether they bring in a psychologist, I'm not 100% sure.
Right.
But they definitely should have, because interviewing a child is totally different, right? Like we've talked about this before. They want to please, they want to tell you what you want to hear.
Yeah.
And especially a kid that has just gone through the trauma of his three best friends being brutally murdered,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like, it's horrific. The questions, the leading questions that they're asking, like, I don't know, you just,
It's a lot.
it is, right? Like, trying to get him to describe, like, how were they having sex?
Sex.
Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my
Like,
God. As a parent, I'd be so mad.
right?
Like, he's 8.
But the way
Yeah.
he kind of describes it, you make him kind of wonder what he's seeing on the outside.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But also, like, there's no mention that his mom or a lawyer was in the room with him.
Right. So
Like,
yeah.
he's 8. They cannot question him. Like, I hope Vicky was in the. I mean, whether she was or not, she didn't do fuck all. Like, if that was my kid and they were started asking that, I'd be like, done. We
Yeah.
are done here. I'm like,
Yeah.
I understand there's 3 murdered boys and you're trying to find out who did that. And I have no issues with him answering these questions, but we would like a psychologist here
Yeah.
or somebody that can help him. Because if he's seen this, this is horrific. And this kid is going to need some counseling, right? Or some therapy or something, right? So,
Do we hear anything about him like now?
I don't want to misquote him, but I'm pretty sure he has said that he doesn't really remember much.
Okay.
And it's like, but he doesn't think that this happened. He doesn't think he saw any of this.
Okay.
But
And you would remember that though. You would remember. There are some things that I don't remember most of my childhood, but very little things will come back.
yeah,
And that I think you would remember. I don't know unless you completely block it out. But
yeah. I mean, our brain does sometimes block things out to protect us from things, right?
yeah, yeah.
But on the other side of that, we also usually get some kind of glimpse of something.
Yeah,
And
like
you can't
this
really
is
pinpoint.
this is pretty significant,
And
right?
you would need to talk this out with somebody if you had actually seen this. Even I wish I'd have found, I'm really kicking myself because there is more to his testimony. At one point, he does say that he was there when they got murdered and that the people that did it had him disembody one of the
What?
boys. Like, he gets very elaborate. I am kicking myself. I wish I thought I had put it in here, but
You know what, kids, it's a kid's
yeah,
imagination, right? Like it's right, but you see how these boys, like how their imagination it just runs wild, and they make up stories and they do things that it's just that's how they are at that age.
Yeah, he does say that so that he was there and the one person made him like cut the one other kid up and that he ran away. So I think at this point is when the cops went, oh man, this might not be real. Because like if there's 5 men that did this and they tied up and murdered your 3 friends, how did you get away? Right? Like, and I think he says he like kicked him and ran away or something, but they're not going to let you get away because they know that you can identify them, right? So I mean, this poor kid, man, to be put in this position. Like, I think basically what happened is Vicky came into the police department and knew what was going on with the investigation. And she decided if she just tells them a little bit, she might be able to get her charges dropped. And so she told them a little bit and they did drop the charges. And then it snowballed from there.
Yeah.
Right. And so then she happened to say, like, well, hey, my kid, this will help. My son is friends with the 3 boys. And the cops went, fuck yeah. Now we can nail whoever because, and then poor Aaron is like, starts telling the story and the cops, they do that thing. This is what fucks me up with people. With like talking to people, when you say something, like someone will ask you a question and you answer it and they just continue to look at you. To me, I'm like, oh, they want more, so then I'll keep talking.
Right.
And if they don't stop or they don't like say, oh, okay, good. Like, I need you to answer type thing. I don't do social cues, so I need you to tell me when I'm finished. or I will keep going. And sometimes you just keep going. And that's why there's so many people out there that know way too much about me than I would like,
because you just don't stop talking.
Yeah, I'm like, I need a cue. I need a fucking stop sign, man, because
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
But I think kids are the same way, right? When you ask them a question, if you just keep looking at them,
Yeah.
they're just going to keep talking because they don't
Yeah.
understand that social cue yet, that all they have to do is give their answer and then stop, and that's okay.
And I think he would have been more distraught than what he was. A child seeing a murder scene, like I don't think.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
You'd
It
be like
would.
a little shell, right? Like you wouldn't want to
Like
talk
you-
to anybody, and you'd be terrified for one of men. If he had seen 5 men kill his friends, now you're just going into a room full of all these other men that you don't know. You're like, are you going to be willing to talk? I don't know.
That's what I mean. Like, how did the cops not catch on at first? Like,
I think this is where, like, when people say they had tunnel vision, I think this is it. Like, this is part of that tunnel vision. Whether it's tunnel vision towards the West Memphis 3, or whether it's just tunnel vision to, like, I gotta solve this murder, which of course they would feel that way. It's 3 little 8-year-old boys that were murdered. Of course they want to solve it, right? But they're just like, gotta solve it, gotta solve it, gotta solve it. And don't take a second to be like, let their brain just be like, hey, y'all think this sounds nuts, right? If they could have just really thought through, I guess one of the tricky parts about being a cop, right? You want to get the case solved and you want to focus on the case, but you got to use your thinker, I guess at times,
what?
right?
Use our thinkers.
I mean, I'm just spitballing. I'm just saying, like, I don't know.
Is that a thing?
I don't know. Maybe when you like join the police academy, you're like, no rational thought. It's gone.
It's gone.
I will give you your badge. You give me your rational thought.
Right, exactly. No mercy on anyone. Just
right.
go for it.
And don't get me wrong. If I need a cop, I want them to be like all in, do whatever it takes, 100%. Like, of course we do.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want them to protect
us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want anyone to think I'm like totally anti-cop. I am not. We need cops 100%. All the whole defund the police, fuck off, please don't, because that's when bad people run rampant.
Exactly. Logical policemen.
We just want we just want to fund some logic back into them. That's all. Yeah. And it's probably one of those jobs that you're fucking damned if you do, damned if you don't, right? Which no fault. Well, yes, fault of theirs. They should have done better.
Yeah.
It's so easy in hindsight to sit here and be like, man, you didn't think, you fucked up. Like, we are going to judge the shit out of you. But I mean, we weren't there at the time, so I totally get that.
Right.
But this just seems glaringly dumb. Poor Aaron. This is an article from the Arkansas Times, and it is from October 7th, 2004. Aaron Hutchinson has suffered from nightmares for most of the 11 years that have passed since his 2 best friends were killed in West Memphis. He recently joined the Army and hopes that this will help him get his life on track. What exactly Hutchinson told police officers in his first interview will never be known. The whole affair began as a result of a coincidence. Vicki Hutchinson was scheduled to report to the Marion police station on the afternoon of May 6th, the day after the murders, but before the 3 bodies had been discovered. According to the officer Donald Bray, who talked to Aaron when his mother was present, Aaron told him things about the murder scene that only someone who had been there would know. This included the fact 2 of the boys had drowned. Is this accurate? Today, 11 years later, Aaron can no longer be sure he actually witnessed the murders. There's no doubt that after several interviews, he told police that he did, but after daily sessions with therapists, nightly bad dreams, and the passage of 11 years, he says he simply no longer knows whether he was at the scene or whether, in his shock at the brutal slayings of his best friends, he only thought he had been at the scene. There are many inconsistencies among Aaron's version of what happened, leaving no doubt that he imagined or made up at least part of the story. But was he at the murder scene? Hutchinson said Bray told her that Aaron knew the boys had been hogtied and that only one at the scene could have known that. Yet in his first tape-recorded interview with police on August 25th, there was the following exchange. Detective Brian Ridge asked Aaron if any of his friends had told him what they think happened, and Aaron had said no. Ridge said, nobody told you. Aaron said, nobody even knows that I know what really happened, what I think happened. Ridge says, do you know what really happened? And Aaron says, most of it. Aaron says, I think they went down there. The men seen them. And that white tank top man that had on the white tank top, he told the rest of the men to hold them or something and probably did it. Ridge did not seem to pick up on the fact that Aaron was no longer sure he had actually seen the murders. Aaron says he knows what happens, what I think happened. He says he thinks the boys went down there and were discovered and that the men in the white tank top probably killed them. Eventually, Aaron goes on to explain for his knowledge of the case that the police chose to overlook. Ridge asks Aaron what he thinks should be done when they're caught, and Aaron says, I told my mom that the police should do what they did to Michael and Chris and Stevie. They shouldn't really even do it to kids that age. And then Ridge says, oh, what did you hear got done to the boys? And Aaron said they got raped, and they got beaten to death, and they got drowned. See, they hogtied them and then put bricks on them so that they won't float up. The boys' bodies were held down by sticks, not bricks. That's what I think. That's what I heard that said. And then Ridge says, well, who told you that? And Aaron says, nobody. I just heard that from the news. And Diane, Michael's mom, said that she's seen his face and it got knife stabs on it. So all these people are talking about it around him and telling him like little parts. And so then he puts it together. And then when the police are questioning him, so
Right.
like, of course he's gonna have these things to say. And the police, again, they keep saying nobody could have known this information. Day you discovered them, you made an announcement basically over the police radio. Many people listen to police radios. So
Yeah.
all these details that the police think are like hidden or kept secret or held back, whatever you want to call it, they're not. They're all out there.
There's also been like times in my own life where I'll dream of something and I'm like, was I there? Like,
Right?
did that really happen?
Yeah.
Or did I, and even years later,
Yeah.
and I'm so mad at myself because I don't know if that actually happened or if I dreamt it. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Just
for
stuff
sure.
like that. And I'm sure children are the same way.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
And so in his exchange, Aaron not only makes it clear that he, like others in the area, had heard rumors that spread like wildfire, but the case he made revealing mistake about the evidence. It was his description of how the boys were hogtied. He made the assumption that most children or adults would make it if they heard that someone had been hogtied. He assumed the murderers had put them feet together and their arms together. It would seem that the terrible way the boys were actually tied up would make a lasting impression on anyone. So, yeah, like when you think hogtied, you think your arms tied together behind your back, or I guess it doesn't matter whether it's behind your back, but your arms are together, your feet are together, right?
I have no idea, to be honest with you.
See,
But yeah.
I thought it was like your arms are together, your legs are together, and then they tie the whole thing together. But that's what they do to like calves when you're never mind.
Okay, so hog tied, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm searching it up.
And didn't we figure out that they were tied differently?
Yeah, we are going to go through the knots. We're going to talk about those.
But remember how when they were taken out, they were tied
Yeah, so you're
lying down, not.
yeah.
Okay, so it says hog tied means someone's hands and feet are tied together, usually behind their back, so they can't move easily. The term comes from how farmers used to restrain pigs.
Yeah.
So,
But they were tied like left hand or left wrist to left ankle, right wrist to right ankle, which really is a bizarre way to tie somebody up.
yeah.
You think
Well-
hog tied behind your back, right? Where these guys weren't actually tied behind your back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is weird, but it's maybe not weird for somebody as fucked up to do that to children. You know
Oh,
what I
for
mean?
sure. Yeah.
So.
Right. I mean, everybody does do things slightly different too, so it's hard to say if there was any real significance to it. It just seems so significant, I guess, because it seems so bizarre to us. So we're going to end there for this week. Next week, we're going to go through the autopsies of the boys, and then we'll go through some expert testimony that explains their injuries. So that's it for Moms on Mics this week.
Don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Moms on Mics Podcast, on TikTok at Moms on Mics, and join our Facebook group, Moms on Mics.
If anyone has any topics you would like us to cover, or if you have any questions or suggestions, you can email us at momsonmics@gmail.com or submit through our website, momsonmics.com.
We would also appreciate it if you could rate and review us on whatever platform you're listening on. It really helps the podcast move up on their charts so it gets more exposure. I hope you join us again next week. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.